And so, yeah, I just wanted to know because I've always been interested on like the purpose
Hmm.
of sampling. Because I know that some people look at sampling as like, "Ugh, that's cheating or
Yeah,
whatever, you know? What's your response to people who say shit like that?
it's more of like the quote I started this with, like if you're gonna try and inspire the world, let the world be inspired by you. So if like
Okay.
you gonna tell
Yeah.
me the years and years of us trying to sample and do all that is just gonna get thrown away because someone thinks that it's not a proper way of doing things or like an original way of doing things, nah.
Yeah.
It's more of just taking what's around you, your environment, and turning it into something that represents you.
Like this. Welcome back to the Face of Music podcast. I am your host, Emanuel Brown, and this is...
Sarey Savi?
And today we got a special guest. You know, we got the guest coming in. This dude's another legend.
Yes.
I like to think he's we met a couple years ago and he's just been working his ass off, man.
I
Like,
try.
And he's a sweetheart.
yeah, he's a good dude.
Sweetheart.
Absolute good dude, man. We got Cotto in the building.
How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for wanting to do this. I know we brought it up to you like a couple months ago.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you were like, say less. And then
Oh
like,
yeah, no. As soon as you text me, I was like, "Let's go, I'm ready."
yeah. And then we were
Oh.
running behind like a motherfucker. And he's like, oh, it's whatever.
Ah.
Like, it's cool.
So
And I'm like,
kind.
wow,
that's
crazy.
that's the kindness right there.
Yeah,
It didn't
absolutely.
matter. I was gonna do it as long as it took me away. I'm not tripping.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
That's so
Okay.
crazy.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so, tell people about yourself, man.
Well, shoot. Can I cuss on here?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
shit.
Media training. Look at that media training.
Right?
Well, just born and raised Puerto Rico. Then I moved to Eastern Washington, and then I really fell in love with music around there. Both my parents loved music. They weren't full-time musicians or anything, but they just loved music.
Mhm.
And then I picked it up from there. Then gave up on that dream, and then went to college
Okay.
for physical science and fashion.
Really?
These stories and paths we've been hearing
Yeah.
about, like, what the fuck?
What
Dude,
the fuck is physical science?
Yeah.
Like therapy.
Oh.
Oh my
Most
god.
people would just say like physical therapy. So I thought this was like some like crazy chemical shit.
No, it's
They're
just like it's the breakdown behind it. Not as much as like the techniques in how to actually massage people. It's just like learning why they do
Oh.
that, how the body reacts to it, and stuff like that.
That's
Wow.
fire.
Yeah, I
Wow.
loved it.
Damn.
It was cool. I thought that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but here we are.
Yeah, here we are for sure. What the fuck?
Absolutely, it's crazy. So like, I want to say, you did your listening session like what 2-3 months ago, something
Mhm.
like that,
Mhm.
and you were telling me about your homie Danny. Right?
Danny, which one?
Is it not Danny? What is it?
Who are we talking about? Craig?
Yes. Why the fuck did I say Danny?
I got
bro?
a homie named Danny too.
Maybe that's why.
Shout out
Maybe
Danny.
that's why. But yeah, Craig. Yes, you were telling me that he got you into like.
Mhm. Yeah, he showed me how to
producing.
make beats, all that shit.
So was that at school? Like,
No, so when I had finished college and moved back here, I was in Seattle working. I was actually in Everett working the Navy base as a lifeguard,
Really?
Oh.
and I was a lifeguard for like
What year was this?
this was like 2017.
Boy, you just missed me. Because I was in the Navy. I don't know if you know
Oh,
that.
that shit.
Yeah, and I was at Everett.
That's crazy.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there. I was just a lifeguard for like a couple years, and then Craig was my roommate. Like, cause I lived in one of those where you could rent a room in the house and all that shit. So
Yeah.
Mm.
I would go kick it with him downstairs while he's making beats. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, oh shit, Craig.
Mhm.
And he's like super talented, super jazz oriented. So I'm over here just
Yeah.
picking up tons of game the whole time. And I took it and just ran with it, honestly.
Mhm.
Oh.
So, I mean, music was in the household with your parents, everything like that.
Yeah.
You left the physical science shit, which is fucking crazy behind.
Dude.
And so you like what it like how when did you decide, like at that moment when you're seeing Craig do it, are you like, hey man, I'm gonna do this? You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
okay, so I was doing it. I was just making beats at that time just for the fun of it. And then I kept making beats for years while still working the whole lifeguard shit. So I was like leveling up in the lifeguard. I was like a manager by the time I was gonna start at Sage, but I didn't even like. So yeah, the whole story was crazy because I was about to get a promotion to start like becoming the main head manager of the pool I was working at,
Wow.
and they gave it to this other bitch who just totally pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna starve myself and work on my music career. I don't need to work here anymore. So then I just door dashed, and anytime I wasn't door dashing, I was at the studio.
What year is this?
Nice.
2018 now, 2019.
2019.
Wow.
Or no, 2020 actually. Yeah, 2020 is when I started. I got hired on 420 at the studio.
That's crazy.
my
So
God.
perfect segue. This is a perfect segue
my
into like how
God.
we met.
Huh.
Actually,
Yeah.
because my engineer Sam, which you know very
The
well,
goat.
Sam's the guy. I love Sam. Me and Sam have been working together since 2017.
Mhm.
So like I got out of the military in 2016 when you started working
At
at
the
that
military.
base, like
Yep.
on the 2017. So it's like we probably missed each other by like
Dude, if you're ever at that pool, I probably saw you.
Probably. You probably did. You probably did. But anyway, so Sam started interning there
Yep, you,
Just
me
like
and him
you.
at the same time.
at the same time. And then like I remember I was like, because you know the pandemic was in full effect, and I'm like, man, like I need to I was like, man, I'm trying to like go to the actual fucking studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how do I do that? Because you know,
How
like
do we manage
nothing-
our way into that?
Yeah, like nothing was open. So I hit Sam and I was like, hey man, like are you still, because he was at Robert Lang
Mm-hmm.
at the before that.
That's where a lot of people actually do their training too, is what I've heard. But I
Yeah.
haven't been there.
Well,
Well, I've been there, but I haven't worked
Well,
there.
he was at Robert Lang, and then Cam,
Mhm.
Cam, who because he doesn't manage. Does he manage Studio Stage now, or is it just you?
Cam Youngblood or Cam Big Cam? Yeah, he still does. He does all the
Okay.
scheduling and shit.
Okay, cool. So like he was at Robert Lang,
Mhm.
Robert Lang studio with
Mhm.
Sam.
Mhm.
So like I remember I was trying to book with Sam, and then he was like, yeah, man, I can get you some booking. No, I'm good.
No,
can I-
oh,
I don't know.
that's why I asked.
I
We're
don't
good.
But he Sam was like, yeah, man, I can get you on the schedule with Sage. And I'm like, word, say less. So like I pulled up to the studio thinking I was gonna have like Sam sitting in the fucking chair. And it wasn't.
No,
and I was
yeah,
just
Cam.
like,
Yeah, Big Cam.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I mean, I was cool with it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I was
yeah.
just like, yo, what? And Sam's just like sitting in the session. I'm like, the fuck? Like,
You're watching,
it's like,
you know?
what the fuck's going on here? And then he was like, oh, like, I intern here right now. I was like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
And then like Cam was shout out to King Youngblood. He was doing it. He was
Mhm.
doing my session for me. And then
Mhm.
like you walked in. Like
Mhm.
you and Sam walked in. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, just walking in my fucking session like that. Cause you know, like that's not like
You're like, who's this kid just waltzing his way into the session?
I mean, it was cool because like you were really respectful, but you know what I'm saying. But like you know, like a lot of at least me as an artist, like I don't need a lot of people around, especially if I don't fucking know you. Like
Yeah.
leave,
Mhm.
like so. Yeah, and then we just started chopping it up, and then I kept booking there, and you just would always pop up. Like he just like it was actually really cool because it just showed, at least to me, like how dedicated you were to what you're doing.
Mhm.
Because every time I was there, you were there. Like I don't care what time it was, I don't care what was going on, you was there.
Yeah.
And
I don't go out. I don't pop out to places. I don't do anything. This is the most of my outside interactions, essentially.
No, that's a fact. I mean, like that's a fact. And I mean, so it was cool. And then I want to say it was 2021. We were working on the KSC project. You, me, and King.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Funny how this keeps coming up, right?
It just keeps.
It just keeps coming up. So we're like in the studio working, and then I remember I was telling you that I wanted to do like a song a day
Mhm.
for like 3 months.
I remember that,
Like,
yeah.
and I was like, damn, man, I just need beats. And you were like, say less. And you just like text me. He just texted me like 90 beats. And I'm just like,
Oh.
holy fuck. And
That's
I'm
a
just
lot of
like,
beats.
all right. So I'm just like going through
No
them.
vegetables.
And then, so I'm just going through them, and I'm just like, you know what? I realized like within that process, like I really wanted to, like not work on writing a song a day, but just like work on just getting better. It just like
Progressing.
rapping.
Yeah.
So then, I think it was day 4, you sent me the "Don't Stop" song was in there. That was day 4
Mhm.
of me
Nice.
writing like. I didn't even write for 90 days. I did like 35, and then like I stopped.
Hey, it's better
But-
than nothing.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So then like that's how that came about, and that's how we all met.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny how things end up working out like without planning them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You guys
That's
are really
true.
doing your shit too with this podcast. Like it's fire as fuck. I watch it every time it comes on my timeline.
Thank you,
Oh,
bro. We appreciate it.
thanks.
We appreciate it, man. I mean, it's his idea. So
It's a great idea.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. we're grateful to have you here. We, you and I don't talk often,
No.
just so people know. Because we had this earlier with another episode where it was, I mean, you know, our relationships kind of differ. And even if we do know the same people, our dynamics are different. And so like Cotto and I, the only time we really see each other is at Studio Sage when I'm there. And
Same for us.
That's where everybody sees
Oh,
me.
really? Okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. And when I do see him, it's just very like jokes. It's a lot of jokes. And it's because I don't know. I feel like when you joke with people, that means that you're comfortable enough to be around them and interact with them. And so, you know, obviously, I think it's also like a mutual thing. Like when you go somewhere and you're someone that you trust fucks with all those people, it's kind of like, okay, I can let my guard down here. And that's how I feel at Sage.
I appreciate that. I mean, I want to make that place as welcoming as possible, honestly.
Yeah.
That's I feel like that's what a lot of people don't realize is like when you're meeting other artists who are also just in the rat race like you are, like you putting down your humility and just being genuine and fun with people makes it way easier for everybody involved.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I mean, and you introduced me to Sam and some other people at the studio too. And at first I was very hesitant.
I mean, as we all are.
We all are. But I'm like not to say like everyone's needs are different, right? Like every artist, every producer, everybody. And I'm just such like, I connect with people deeper than music. So like if I meet people and I'm at a studio and even though I'm there and we're doing business, like if I feel like our personalities don't really mesh like that, then you're not going to see me there again. Yeah. You know, and I'm also not really the type of person to like tell you, I'm not coming back. You know,
I'm not either though.
Bye.
Yeah. So it took a long time. I say that to say like it took a long time for me to warm up to Sage because I'm just not used to working with like someone like Sam who is great. I just want to preface that. But
Legend.
he like for me, he's a little bit more on the quieter side. And I'm used to working with like labels where the engineers and producers are like, bro, what the fuck? And they're like, you know, like, so
all
like,
animated and whatnot. Yeah.
So like when I work with producers or anything and they're quiet, I'm just like, I must not be good.
Well, you know what's interesting about you saying that is like with Sam and even with Cotto here, right? Like they are animated, but like I feel like it's
a very small scale.
Yeah, but it's like it has to be something like that really, like for example, right? Let's go back to
recording that shit.
Yeah, we could talk about that too. Or like the Don't Stop record, right? Like I remember the day thank you. The day I went there to actually record it, and I wasn't really even trying to record it. Yeah. We were shooting a music video for one of my songs off of Mosaic. Okay. Right? And my videographer at the time, Lucas, was there. And we're just shooting, and Sam's like, oh yeah, what else we're doing like with this time? Blah, blah, blah. Right? And he's like, and I was like, you know, I've been, you know, writing every day, blah, blah, blah. I ain't really, you know, like recorded today. He was like, oh, we could do that right now. And I'm like, but we're shooting a video. And he's like, Sam's like, I don't give a fuck. And then he's like, give me the beat. So then like I sent him the beat. It was Cotto's beat, and they pulled it up, and then we started like working on it while we were shooting the video.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like literally, I'm sitting.
I don't work hard.
Fire.
What the fuck?
Shut up! Don't do that. So literally, I'm standing there, and then like I'm just like rapping it or whatever. And then Cotto comes in, like, because he always just is somewhere.
Just somehow.
And then he just comes in there and he's like, you know, usually he's reserved like this. He's like, bro, what the fuck? He's like, when's this shit dropping? Like, and then Sam was like, hey, this. Right. Like, he was like animated. And like, that's how I knew. You know what I'm saying? Because like, we're all pretty, you know what I mean? So like, that's how I knew. I was like, oh, like, we might have some here. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, they do get like that, but it's just like, I feel like it has to be something. It can't just be good. Yeah, it has to be, of course, great. Yes. What they view as great. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because I'm like that too. Like, I'm very like, yeah, that's good. But then when I'm like, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's your song, Lonely? Your song, Lonely? Go stream Lonely. I'm just like, smash. Fucking smash. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's the difference.
But Sage also has its specialties, right? Like Sage is primarily focused on more like hip hop and like trap. And... No?
I mean, I do a little bit of everything. I ain't
A
gonna
little
hold
bit.
you.
I guess when I'm there though, that's primarily what I hear.
Mhm.
But I guess it depends on who's in the room and who's
True.
facilitating the session,
Yeah,
which is
you just got to check out some of my shit sometimes. I'll be working on
yeah.
music from around the world.
Okay, see,
That's
because
true.
yeah, because that's when I'm there with Sam. I guess that's all I hear. Because I mean, but I'm really there because of your sessions. So it makes sense why I hear that.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I've worked with Sam by myself one time, but we did a house song, and it was for a label.
I
So that was the
remember
one
It's an
time.
amazing song, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it was. But I mean, this is great. Like your beats are amazing.
Thank you.
Okay,
They are.
I love your music. We do need to connect more.
I need to make more radio music for you.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you should just make music that's you, and I will because I like your music because that's you. So I don't want you to make something that you
Same.
feel like is me.
No, I mean, yeah, but also at the same time, like I make thousands of beats to cater to thousands of different artists. So if I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a beat for you, I'm gonna want it for you to. I want it to speak to you
I
in a way.
see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, then we'll have to connect after this then and talk about it. But we're talking about music. We're talking about something really important that I think has a lot of complexity to it. I say that word a lot. I love the word complex because it is. The music
is.
industry and the business is complex. And I
Dog,
wanted
you're
to
built for fucking podcasting. Do you know that?
what?
You're built for podcasting.
You're made
Do
for
you know
this
that?
Oh my god.
Like literally, that segue was fucking amazing.
Oh my god. Stop. I appreciate that.
Said
Thank you.
Stop it.
Thank you. I'm just like you. I'm learning
Mhm.
day by day how to take compliments.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they yell at me for not taking compliments.
But Cotto, the thing about your beats that I hear a lot, your production in general, is sampling.
Mhm.
It's a huge part of
That is me.
yeah, and which is great. I think that recycling and also not recycling. I think that having a new interpretation
Mhm.
of something it can be a hit or miss
Mhm.
with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But I guess I know you have your questions, but I kind of just wanted to
No,
start
go
off
for
with the
it.
basics,
Please
with
go
just
ahead.
like why, like
Why do I
did you-
sample?
yeah, like why did you start sampling?
I like to be inspired by the world.
Yeah,
When I'm sampling, I definitely try and go out of my comfort zone and find things that would make me want to make it sound different. Does that make sense?
yeah,
I guess too, just sampling has always been in my ear. Like I've always, everything I sample now or everything I try to make now, I feel like I'm just trying to go back to a sense of home or nostalgia. So anything I make now is like just, it reminds me of those times, or like the records I be chopping reminds me of the 60s, 70s, 80s, because
yeah.
that's how I got put on to all those samples. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a drug. It's a really cheap drug because records are 80 cents, but it works out because I can find more music anywhere. Like I can go to a different city, find a local artist there that no one's ever heard of, sample the
Yeah.
fuck out of it, make some new sound that no one's ever heard. Like, yeah, just shit like that. There's just so much to it.
Sampling's a part of hip hop culture too, though.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm saying?
you've been teaching me
Yeah.
a lot about that because I don't sample,
Mhm.
so I don't know much. But obviously, with a lot of new music, there is a lot of interpolations, there's sampling,
Tons.
Mhm.
and so yeah, I just wanted to know because I've always been interested on like the purpose
Mhm.
of sampling, because I know that some people look at sampling as like, "Ugh, that's cheating or
Yeah.
whatever, you know. What's your response to people who say shit like that?
It's more of like the quote I started this with, like, if you're gonna try and inspire the world, let the world be inspired by you. So if like
Okay.
you gonna tell me the years and years of us trying to sample and do all that is just gonna get thrown away because someone thinks that it's not a proper way of doing things or like an original way of doing things. Nah,
Yeah.
it's more of just taking what's around you, your environment, and turning it into something that represents you. That's all it is.
I love that. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you teaching me a lot about like how sampling is such a big part of hip hop culture.
Mhm.
But like what's the crevice of like us talking about sampling for you? And like what are you really looking forward to get out of this conversation?
Well, I think it's important for
And of course the viewers too.
yeah. Well, I think it's important for people to know that like sampling is a part of music,
Yeah.
all types of music, not just hip hop.
Yeah.
But I also think it's important for people to know that like a lot of sampling is done from a place of like paying homage, like he was saying, to what came before and like just doing it in a different way. Yeah. But I really want people to know who are aspiring artists, you know, like ourselves, producers, engineers, whatever, right? That when it comes to sampling, there are rules to sampling, right? There are rules to, I'm sure, the formula on how you sample. Yeah. Okay, and that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine if it's not.
No, there's both sides. There's two sides to each coin. So it's like there's risks, but there's also rewards. So yeah, it's like a double-edged sword. You never know how it's gonna go, but that's kind of the risk behind it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't like. I don't want to say we don't argue about it, but we do have like a passionate, small disagreement about it too. Because like for me, I don't want any samples in music I can't clear, right? Because I don't want it to come back and bite me in the ass later. Because just for people who don't know, clearing a sample is a very meticulous process, and you basically have to know the people who, at least what I've been told and what I've been shared
I'm gonna make
with.
this real easy for all the viewers.
Go ahead.
Go to your Facebook. Go to the estate of the person that you want to purchase the sample from or get it cleared. Reach out to the estate because 9 times out of 10 they're going to respond because that person's been dead and they're going to want the money from it. It's easy as that. It's not, you don't have to go look up someone's agency, someone's blah, blah, blah. But 9 times out of 10 you find that estate or the people who owns that, it's straight through a Facebook link. You can message them. Some of my biggest records got cleared like that. Simple.
Jewelry. Well, let me ask you this: when
jewelry,
jewelry,
yeah,
jewelry, not a gem.
Jewelry.
He just put out jewelry out there for you.
I love that.
When you go about the clearing part, right? Do you think it's easier to clear as a producer than it is an artist? Because as an artist, you're not just getting the beat clear; you got to get your lyrics cleared as well.
Well, even I'm gonna tell like this too, because 9 times out of 10 I just pass it off to the legal side. But like when I have when I feel like I need to clear something because I want to put the record out myself, it's like, fuck, I don't know how to put this. It's, I just don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I at the end of the day, I will wait and try and get shit cleared. And I know it's probably a lot easier for me to do it because there's no lyrics that I have to clear. It's usually just the sample itself, and it's usually not even that long of it, like 10 seconds that I flipped or some shit like that. So when I'm about to that's why it's a lot easier for me to take that risk than of just dropping it, because I don't have to worry as much as a normal artist would. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And even then too, producers don't even be clearing records.
Facts.
Yeah, they don't.
Unless they're gonna be the one getting the monetization from it. But other than that, labels with all these big ass fucking budgets and all that shit, they're the ones who really got to clear the label, clear the sample essentially.
Yeah.
But when it comes to us and the local dudes who actually have to go out and do that shit themselves, it can definitely be very scary and it can get hard.
Well, the thing is, I think the biggest thing I want people to understand is when you're going out there to do that, they're not gonna come for you when it's nothing's going on.
No,
they don't care.
No emotion. Well, they'll just let it be. Exactly. That's why 9 times out of 10, your favorite local artist can drop a flip and it'll stay up. And it'll be off an iconic ass song. The label's gonna have to spend more money pursuing that case than they're gonna make off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
so they don't give half a fuck.
But the issue, see, I like to think, we all here like to think long term, but it's that's why I'm let's do this right.
You never know.
Yeah.
You're right. You never know, and it's safer to be. I mean, it's just better to be safe than sorry. A lot of artists do take that risk. I don't think we're in a position to be like, you should or you shouldn't. I think you just do whatever the fuck you want to do.
I mean, do whatever the fuck you want, but I'm gonna tell you, don't do that shit. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I don't sample, right? So for me, that's not really a concern. But
sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I love sampling. I think it's the most beautiful thing in hip hop because it adds onto music. But for example, there's a song off my project Red Winter. It's called Welcome. When I got that beat,
great song.
right? Thank you. When I got that beat from the main guy that's been producing for me, Enon, for years, it had a Marvin Gaye sample in it.
Mm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's Marvin Gaye. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course I could put it out. You know what I mean? Like, of course I can put it out.
The label's just watching, like,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like, of course I can put, of
Right.
course I can add that within there. You know what I'm
so
saying?
fucking dead with
But
this guy.
like, why would I do that? Like, I'm literally asking. I'm asking for failure.
also too, it's this is where like the risk and reward shit comes, because you could drop that song
Mhm.
and it could make you enough money to pay off that label and still eat.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's a really slippery slope.
It is, because I mean,
Choose your battles.
I'll share this now. I shared this with you privately and this with you privately. But and this will be the first time I think I've shared it publicly on a podcast. No, did I say it on your podcast? I don't think I did. But anyways, there was a sample that was in a song that will never come out, because like me and that artist aren't doing that song anymore. But it was a Logic sample. When he dropped, it was off his album Under Pressure, and the song is called Under Pressure. And he had sampled it from a previous artist, but he got the rights for the sample, right? And we were gonna put this song out potentially around when he was like retiring, and he dropped No Pressure. And one way or another, we got it up the pipeline to Logic, his team, and at first they wanted $250,000
Crazy.
to use the sample, and they wanted 85% of the royalties for the sample. Now, what most people don't understand is like a lot of your major like artists out there who are using samples, they have to agree to some terms from the originator of said sample. Now,
The label,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, or if that person's alive, you know what I mean? Like if they own their masters, of course, then they'll do that. But that, you know, like you're not really eating unless it's a smash, like you're saying, you know what I mean? And like me at this level, like I can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like me literally giving up everything in my entire life to put out a song that may not even go anywhere.
It's like, how much do you think this song is going to be a hit?
Exactly, right? And I mean, of course, we believe in.
Are you willing to take out a loan to make this song?
Right. We believe in every song we put out, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna go. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think, you know, you have to be. Look at Old Town Road, Little Nas X, right?
Yeah.
Like that was a sample on that
It
song.
was a track lib sample, so it was already cleared.
For sure, but I mean, they still try to sue him for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Did they?
I think so. I think like
I thought I read something about
yeah.
that.
I think they didn't know that he had rights to said sample, and then he ended up getting on the remix.
Yeah. Yeah. True. But I mean, see, even to my point, but it was a smash. You know what I mean? Like I think it holds the longest record for being on a top chart ever.
Yeah, it was eating up the charts. The same thing happened with Juice WRLD too, with I still see your shadows and that song.
Yeah.
That's a Sting sample that they never cleared.
Yeah, and his estate is getting
Sting gets 80% of royalties off that song forever.
And see, this is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like even like another sample, and like samples just doesn't. I mean, of course, it's within music, but it doesn't just apply to music. Like Arby's, you know, the Arby's commercial.
McDonald's.
Arby's, we have the meats, right? That's a sample, I believe, of. I might be wrong. I forget the EDM artist, but I won't say his name. This EDM artist and the rapper Pusha T did a song together, so they get paid 60% every time that gets played. You know what I'm saying? Because Arby's had to clear them for that. So every time you see that commercial, he gets paid. You know, and then the McDonald's one.
The McDonald's one's crazy.
Yeah, Pusha T did that too. Him and Pharrell and his brother did that too. But they, instead of taking the royalties on the back end, they just took the check up front.
A big ass check.
Yeah, they got $1 million for that. So it's like, you know, I think sampling is a beautiful thing. Like, I'm not saying it's not a beautiful thing, but I just feel like at our level, we have to be smart.
You have to be really cautious about what you sample and how you sample.
And you know, you said you clear samples. So my question to you is right, when you go clear them, if you're putting these beats out in the market, do you let these artists know that you've pre-cleared these? Because I think that's a problem.
If I'm clearing the sample, I'm not putting it on the market. If I'm going to clear a sample, I'm just doing it so I could eat off that and drop it on my page, do all my shit. So if an artist is getting a beat off me, I ain't cleared that sample yet. That's not my job.
That's fair.
That makes sense.
That's fair.
But
I mean,
if they want the resources to do that, I can definitely help. I can facilitate
I
all
fuck
that.
with that. I fuck with that.
But when it comes to
yeah.
like that, like me needing to clear your record, I can't do that for you, bro. I'm not gonna eat off that. That's not me.
I don't know. I feel like that's not fair.
I feel like it is fair what he's saying, that he will give you the resources. He'll help you with the resources too.
I don't think that's fair, because when you work with the label, you have to have everything cleared already.
No, you don't. What's the label for? That's what.
Well, like when you, for example, like in the house world, when you work with house producers, right? Like a lot of those deals are single deals. So like if you pitch a record to a label, you want the label to market it and stuff like that. Like it's your responsibility to, like, the thing is or
It's I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to the artist and the label who clears it. Like it doesn't boil down to the producer at the end of the day.
I know, but I feel like there's like this, I guess it's not fair to me because of like a personal opinion rather than something that's factual.
Right.
Which my personal opinion is, if you can't just put it, like if I can't just record on it and release it, then I don't want to sing on it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why we're having this discussion, ladies and gentlemen.
But I also think, so I understand, like from the perspective of producer, like it's not your responsibility. But I don't pin it all on the producer. Like my personal opinion, I pin it on the flawed system of the music business. And I think that's why websites like Tracklib, is it called Tracklib?
Tracklib, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I think they're trying to
Splice.
fill those gaps. But like I could imagine that it's probably hard for them to be able to clear every song on planet Earth. Maybe? I don't know.
It's all just a money game.
Yeah.
It's really
I
all
mean,
it boils down
do
to.
you feel like it's a flawed system though?
It's
And it's too complicated and
not really, because I mean I've had things go super smooth, but at the same time I've had things take. I'm still waiting to hear back from labels for shit that's tried to get cleared. So I definitely hear you. But I feel like when it comes to just necessarily putting the idea together and putting the record together and making that as solid as you can, and then taking that to label, they ain't gonna say no. They gonna have to boast you at that point. Does that make sense? But like I totally understand it. It's a slippery slope, and it's hard. I wish there was an easier way to just reach out to a sample maker, blah, 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 do all that.
Yeah.
And even Tracklib, I'm not trying to drag on them or anything, but it's so complicated even with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro, because like you have to pay your monthly credits, right? So your monthly credit goes towards like a 5 to 10 second part of the sample, not the entire sample.
Right.
Not even necessarily what you wanted to sample, but that 5 to 10 seconds is what you're paying for. Does that make sense? And like, I don't know, when they do all that, it's kind of like, damn, like I was trying to use more of the record, but that's where it breaks down to, oh, you got to pay more. So like the whole system is, even with people trying to bridge it like that, it's still really messed up.
There's still some things that need to be worked out, but it's not just with that, it's just with the business model of the music industry in general.
And there's no one out here trying to like regulate things. There's no one out here trying to like make things a normal, so we're all really just trying to make it how we can. Writing some weird
outdated,
rule book in our head, trying to make it super outdated.
It's so outdated, and I think that's why we have more independent artists now than we've ever had, because people want to be able to control that, to control the type of industry that they decide to take part in. And
also, too, like people are realizing you don't really need a label. Like if you're making hits out your bedroom and you're making million plus 2 million streams, SoundCloud everywhere, blah blah, you necessarily don't need
which
a
is
label.
another flawed system in my opinion. Like when it comes to numbers, like it's just a flawed system.
Just streams in general fucked up the whole game. That's what it was.
I think. I mean, and I think there's some beauty to that, but I don't want to like, I don't want to like go to it's a lot of layers. But I mean, there's always a pro and con with everything, and I just feel like in the perspective of consumers, like it just made it so much easier for them. But I think that it's weird because it's like I don't want to tell people what to do, but I do want to encourage people and suggest to people like how things could like work to my benefit so I can continue to create music, and how the money gets put into my pocket or where else it goes. And that's a big part of sampling is like figuring that out. That's what it sounds like
just
to
having
me.
a budget for it too, because people can ask for anything they want, essentially.
Yeah. And so like trying to like navigate that, and then like I'm sure a lot of people watching this don't know that you could just go to like an artist's estate and kind of just ask, and you know you're going to get a response 9 times out of 10. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna.
I didn't know that.
Dude,
Yeah.
no, people will take for granted the resources that we have today, obviously, because there's tons of shit out there that we can use. So like when it comes to messaging estates and messaging people directly like that, it's way easier than it was before.
Okay.
Way easier than it was before.
Yeah.
So shout out to Facebook for that. But like other than that, when it comes to like actually wanting to get a I lost my train of thought. So when you want to get a sample cleared, it's kind of sad, but like if you can do it because of the resources that are around you, you can definitely make it work. It's definitely possible in today's age, like as opposed to 50 years ago. Like if I tried to clear a sample with someone who was already dead, there was no way I was going to be able to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just it's weird, it's crazy, but I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Well, I think the way we can bridge that gap is like maybe producers and artists should like build a relationship and rapport together, so like they know, like you and me, like like if I'm looking for something, I'll be like, yo, send me something.
I will never send you a unclearable beat again.
Exactly, because like I'm not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a communication thing too, though. I think it is up to the, like if artists know or if they're unsure, I think it's also up to artists to ask those questions.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I guess if you're starting out and you're new, I guess you wouldn't know that. But that's the purpose of this podcast, is to provide.
Literally took the words out of my mouth. Absolutely.
I had an artist reach out to me once. He's like, bro, my whole tape got taken down.
Wow.
He's like, I'm pretty sure it was because all those sample beats that I bought off you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, did you clear anything? Did you reach out to anybody? Did you figure anything out? He said, nah, bro, I just thought it was good.
Yeah.
So people don't know that you can't just do that shit. Does that make sense? There's artists out here who will just buy a YouTube beat, go upload it, blah, blah, blah. They think it's cool.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I know people who've done that.
But it's so easy now that it makes it.
That's why I
especially
learned
with
how to
like
produce.
Yeah, especially with like artists who just like BandLab, for example, made it so easy for people to just record wherever they want, however they want, blah, 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 to the point where it's making it so easy for people that they're not realizing that they have to take the extra steps to figure out who made the beat, who cleared it, blah, 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 all the X and Y's and Z's behind it. It's,
And I think, one side of this we haven't really talked about yet is like, we can't get mad at people for protecting their asset. Something they worked at and made, like, we're asking to clear a sample, but like they might have went through all the correct channels to do that. You know what I mean? So who are we to be like, yeah, fuck this motherfucker, that's for $250,000. Fuck this man. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are we to say that? You know what I mean? And I think, like you said, like communication is just the way to go about it. So
you have to be curious. I feel like as an artist, your job isn't like, if you're an independent artist and you're also navigating the business, it's not just the art that you should be creating, but it's also, you should be curious all the time. Like you should be the annoying bitch in the room that's always asking questions.
Right.
Because I think it's important for you. I mean, it's a business, so you should know. You should absorb all of the information, and it's not always about the art, right? Because it is a business.
Yeah, it's why it's called the music business.
Yeah.
So before we let you go, I wanted to ask the ones you can speak on, right? Can you speak on some of the artists you have done production for? Bigger, smaller, whatever you consider that to be.
Let me pull out a list real quick.
What are you gonna do?
This man's working, man. Like I want to say, I truly believe
a Wikipedia page.
This to my, he actually should try to look into getting. You should tell your team to look into getting that. Actually,
the Wikipedia page. Oh, it's on the way.
Okay. See, say less. You already. But I would say before you start, I just want to give you your flowers while you're here on camera.
Yes.
Yeah. It's one of the hardest working dudes I know. Like, for real. Like, I mean, like, just to see the amount of growth I've seen from the moment I met you to now, it's, like, crazy. And it's just, like, it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough, honestly. Because, like, he's just always, this motherfucker's always in the studio, bro. Like, always. It's crazy.
I feel like I set that up for me. So, like, if you can do that, anybody can do whatever the fuck they want. So if you really want to do something, you could set up your dreams. You can set up sacrifices to make it to where you want to be. Does that make sense? Everybody here is doing exactly what they do because they love it. So if you're willing to take a sacrifice, if you're willing to not make the most amount of money when you're first starting up, those are things that'll turn you into the person who's doing what they love every single day.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Beautiful. Couldn't say it better. Okay, the list.
Well, I guess the most recent one and definitely my biggest one was Afro Man. That was huge. Had a bunch of shit that we worked on while he was in the studio. It's totally random too. I didn't even, because his boss just booked the session. His manager booked the session. I didn't know, dude. I just saw random client on him. I was like, okay, random session. Afro Man walks in. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah, right.
I'm rolling up a joint, passing to Afro Man. I'm like, this is not real. This is a dream. Someone wake me up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, other than that, I definitely got a bunch of shit with everybody in the city on the way for sure, because I definitely love working with artists from the city like Mafia D, Mike Jack. That's just to name a few, obviously. I'm bringing, I don't know if you guys know Choice, Always White Choice.
Yeah,
we're about to drop his
yeah.
album soon.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy work on there. That one's going to be nuts. Shoosh. Dude, there's so many people on this list. I'm trying to think too, because I just got a Spanish placement with some dude from Puerto Rico, and he's fucking huge. You already know how the Spanish music goes. That shit blows up. So I'm trying to eat off that, my boy.
I mean, I guess just name some of your favorites.
Shit. Well, I mean, shout out DC2 Trill. Shout out Maxo Cream. Shout out
Maxo
Acito.
Cream is a crazy one. That's crazy.
Yeah, I love Maxo. Crazy.
Hip hop artist. He's a hip hop artist.
Yeah, he's from Texas. He's definitely one of the hardest workers I know. Like, he pulled up to the studio and made me feel like I wasn't working hard enough. Like, he walked in, took some things, and then worked for 14 hours straight. Like, just song, no breaks. I'm like, damn, that's really like motivating. Like, I see how that shit goes down, and it just made me progress from there.
Yeah.
YNJ from Detroit, shout out V's, shout out Glock Boy TJ, shout out Bang Gang Lonnie. Tons of artists. Like, everybody in California that I've done it for, shout out the Bay. Like, I wish I could remember everybody I worked with, but it's just, there's so many people at this point that I try and remember what I can.
To your work ethic. Yeah.
I love it though. I wouldn't change it for the world.
For sure.
That's good. I would hope not. Yeah, I would hope not, because I mean, like, you have that for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I honestly, genuinely feel like it was what I was put here to do.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We feel the same way. We feel like you were destined to do that too.
I love it.
So you should continue to do that, and don't stop like this guy over here wanting to be fucking like A&R or management or something. Oh, what the fuck? Why you want to do that for?
Hey,
you want to be an A&R too, though.
Huh?
You said you want to be an A&R too, though. So what the fuck you talking about?
That's yeah, whatever. I guess that's true too. Yeah,
That's
but
so
for different reasons, I guess.
Yeah,
but. Why do you have that look on your face?
Because it's just funny. It's just funny. You're funny. That's all.
Oh, I know what that means. Anyway, so, but I think that this conversation was very like, it was such like intellectually like stimulating thing, because the reason why I don't know much about sampling is because, like I said before, like, I don't do it, and I've never really worked with people that sample. And I've never like had to ask somebody like to not do that.
Yeah.
But it's becoming a more common thing. So I think it's important for people out there who are watching, and for aspiring artists to really understand what sampling is, and some of the things, the process of clearing it, and kind of like the pros and cons, because I feel like we dove into that a lot, and we had such a great conversation about how to go about that, and also like websites and different organizations who are trying to bridge that gap, and then kind of discussing a little bit deeper about like those things and money and like even our own experiences.
Dude, you are really good at this.
I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Let me give you a quick thesis of what we just went over really quick.
It's fucking nuts, bro.
Thank you so much for that. It's a first time for the both of us, but I also think that it's no different than having a conversation with just people who are doing great work like you.
Appreciate that.
And so, I think that for the both of us, we're just really looking forward to see what you do next.
Yeah.
If you follow people on Instagram, because we don't follow each other, but we will follow each other now.
I don't run my Instagram. That's why.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Damn, I'm not big enough to do that or say that yet. So
I didn't know
I'm
that.
not big, but it's just
it's
damn.
complicated.
I'm gonna dive
right?
in one more gem. Hire people to do things for you that take your workload and make it way easier.
Yeah.
Because the more you can focus on being better and being a better producer and grinding, and the less you have to worry about fucking social media, fucking
Yeah.
bookings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you, it seems like an investment that is kind of hefty and not really worth the time, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it because all I have to worry about is
Is making
where I need to
music.
be at the time.
Yeah.
What beats am I working on? Shit like that. I don't.
See, God, that's a different conversation for a different day.
Yeah,
Because I feel like that has layers.
I remember when I hit you, I was like, yo, you want to do? You was like, yo, let me check with my team. I was like, nigga, was I supposed to hit your management? Like, I was like, let's put. He was like, no,
But that's
it's
great.
good,
No,
bro.
no, it's all green.
That's great.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was
I-
like, no, it's cool. He was like, we're good. He was like, let me check. He was like, 2 minutes later, he was like, we're good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, bro.
That's
like,
a great conversation that we have to have too, because
Yeah.
there's certain there's like an appropriate time and
Mhm.
things like that.
Mhm.
yeah.
So I think that
Hey,
you
I'm always
saying
willing
that-
to come back too if you guys
Yeah.
ever need me.
I feel like that would be a really great
Yeah, we should do
conversation.
that.
We should definitely do that.
I wanted to, before we signed off, because I feel like you were
Yeah,
about to do that.
No, that's okay.
I just wanted to thank you for
Yeah.
coming, number one, and secondly, for giving me my biggest record ever. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Hey, it's one of my biggest records ever too, so I'm
Nah,
happy
for
to be a
sure.
part of it for sure.
No, I appreciate you giving that to me, us working. We got other ones coming out
Yeah.
soon. He's been
Mhm.
pressing me for years.
I will
He's
always
like-
press him
He's
because
like, bro,
his
what the
music
fuck, bro?
I love hearing.
Yeah.
Like, I love hearing new things from this man. So it's like
Yeah.
anytime he's actually willing to drop something, I'm like, load it up, load it up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that he creates great music. I think
Amazing
you help fuel that though.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
you both work hand in hand together
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
that happen.
Yeah.
So I just
Ooh.
want people who
Ooh,
are also
I gotta go. Fuck.
No. One more
That's okay.
One more
Hit me,
shout
hit
out.
me, hit
One
me.
more shout out. Shout out to Laura Lavy.
Mhm.
She is the reason I started working with him.
Okay.
She's the main reason, because she told me, she was like, he's special. You need to go. And that's my lawyer.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. She was
Shout
like,
out,
Oh,
Laura.
Go
so
work with him.
sweet.
So
That's
yeah.
the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to her for connecting.
She actually
Yeah.
set me up with a bunch of DJ gigs too when I first started getting into the scene. So yeah, shout out to her.
Oh.
She's
Oh.
amazing. For sure.
That's good.
But tell people
Yeah.
where they can find you before you get up out of here.
Beats by Cotto everywhere.
Word.
everywhere.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I love
Beats
that.
by Cotto. COTTO.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to the Face Music Podcast.
The question.
Oh,
Were you gonna ask the question?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess we can ask that.
Hit me.
Real
Yes.
quick. Okay. What's your definition? What do you think it means to face the music?
Face the music. Oh fuck.
Dun dun dun.
It's a very deep question. That's why.
It's having to put up with all the shit you said in your songs in real life.
Mm.
Having to deal with everything
Wow.
you said and people coming up and ask you like, what did you mean by that?
Oh.
That's the face of music.
Wow.
I know that's right.
Well, I wonder which song he's talking about. 'Cause there's multiple, but cool.
Too
No,
much. Too much music.
I'm dead. But yeah, this is the Face Music Podcast with your boy Emanuel Brown, and
Sarey Savvy.
make sure you guys check us out
Cotto.
every other Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and if you got any comments about how we can make it better, worse,
Yeah, what? You got any
leave it in
questions?
the comments? Any questions? leave
Yeah,
it
I
in
think
the
you guys should
comments.
turn down the volume of the entire podcast.
Fuck off. But yeah, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.
Deuces.
like this.